made him 0-4 at one point, but we're going into game number 3 soon.
Yeah, we are. We're straight into the pick and ban, I believe.
All right.
And here we go. Okay, so not wasting any time at all. No roster changes this time around, of course. Grace is going to keep his spot, and no sign of Cube. Onto the top side, it will be Roach once again, and I'm glad about that, because Roach was one of the good parts of Gen G, made the right decisions when it came to split pushing, took down a couple of inhibitors by himself, but it was the team fights that didn't necessarily work out in favor of Gen G. Now back on the red side, we'll see what they can actually get done here, as the Galio are going to be their first ban. Ezreal and Akali taken off the board by Jin Air as the first 2 for them.
And Cassiopeia should likely be banned away, but we'll see. Now, the interesting thing is the blue side Cassiopeia ban previously might be an indication that, well, let's see. Jin Air is not going to be the one that banned it on blue.
Yeah, and our Jin Air going to get gifted over a Cassiopeia yet again.
That would be a horrible mistake.
Well, I mean,
okay.
It's going to be banned, okay. But now, what is available? Because there are certainly a lot of things. Yes, Urgot is certainly up, but Rakan is also there. Kellen maybe didn't have quite as much of a performance as Hoyt did in our previous series, but certainly was still good on the Rakan, and they are going to lock that one away. Jin Air getting the highest priority pick, and I feel like Rakan is really smashed up, especially in my mind. Rakan is almost one of the best first picks that you can possibly get. Gen G will be given a couple of power picks here. First one being the Urgot, and they can take away the Tahm Kench if they want to. Kai'Sa going to be picked away from Root, though, and I don't mind that. Ruler had a good game 1, and Root had a good game 2, so you may as well get the Kai'Sa again for yourself if you can.
Now, if you are Jin Air, you have to wonder what type of strategy are they going to use to approach here. It looks like a Scion. We don't know if he's going to go mid or top. Okay, well.
Oh my goodness, okay.
Vladimir insta-locked.
Well, Root could be playing this as well, so that's still a flex.
Yes.
Can be going just about anywhere. Any of the lanes, probably not going to be jungling. That's what I'm going to say. As our life, thinking about going back to an old favorite here. Could, of course, be Peanut's champion and has played a lot of Gragas in the past, but Life had a breakout performance on the Gragas support, and I would like to see it down there, but still technically a flex as well.
Gragas could go top lane, but more traditionally, it is a jungler. So I'll see what the bans are. Most likely, Gen G just has to pinch junglers in a spot like this.
I feel like Xin Zhao needs to be banned away. It's Malrong's far and away best champion. But next, do they get rid of the Olaf and see whether they can actually pinch that champion pool down any further? What did Jin Air ban away here? What are they assuming from that Gragas? My assumption is bottom lane, but
ban supports.
Yeah, I think banning support sounds like a good idea. Victor, though, is going to be the first one to be taken off the board.
I guess that what they don't want is Urgot to go mid and then Victor to go top lane.
Yeah.
Which I think is actually indicating that Linderong will be the one playing Vladimir.
I guess so.
So, Olaf now being banned away as well by Gen G.
I would be a little bit perplexed if it wasn't Grace. After that performance on the Zoe, I'd want to give him a carry. I'd want to give him a damage dealer. I wouldn't want to change that playstyle.
Right.
So far as Elise, the only one of the 2 successful junglers here for Peanut. Elise and now Zach. Today, as Peanut thinking about going back to an old favorite, Clid gave us a real treat on his Lee Sin, and Peanut's going to lock it in. Okay. Let's see whether he can go back to vintage Peanut that was schooling people with this pick. Aurelia. Man, okay, this could be the Linderong pick as well. But now, LS, feels like we got a bunch of awesome dudes.
Okay.
And that is Root playing the bottom lane Vladimir, most likely, with Grace and Linderong swapping around between this Aurelia and the Scion.
These are very, very explosive team compositions. And, okay, for the last pick, your friend and mine.
Yep, there we go. How surprised are you? How surprised are you?
I love it.
Yeah,
this is how I wanted to cap off the night.
Well, this is the special, the SKT special that they brought out. It was Lee Sin, Lissandra, and Urgot, and they won a whole bunch of times with this exact composition. Felt like they were holding on to strats, but as it turned out, it was just damn strong. But this is a very different bottom lane. This is very similar to other ideas that we've had with the Victor being put towards the bottom side of the map to try and nullify these sorts of matchups. We saw that used by Damwon against Teddy and Mata in our first series, and now it's going to be a little bit different flavor, a little bit more of the Griffin-esque style with Viper playing so much Vladimir, but Root and Kellen going to try the Khan on the bottom side, and we'll see how it works out.
Yeah, and we'll take another quick look at the team compositions here. So for Jin-Air Green Wings, Linderong, Malrong, Grace, Root, and Kellen. On the Sion, Sejuani, Irelia, Vladimir, and Rakan. This is a wombo combo in the mid and late game. The issue is that if Irelia goes down, the whole thing goes down if they don't bring someone down with her. Yeah,
I think that it's going to be largely about how well Root and Grace can pair together in that mid to late game to try and get the Vanguard's Edge and the Hemo Plague working out at the right times. Whereas on the other side of the map, Gen G have gone as about as stock stand as you possibly can. Scaling bottom side of the map, level 6 jungler, and then Aftershock and Spellbooks in the other lanes. Let's see how it goes as we get into game 3. Okay, here we are. Teams clash, but nothing funny level 1, apart from Root trading a transfusion with an Acathian Rain, which is something that he learnt is not a good idea. Phase Rush was the decision as well as we go down the Keystones. Pretty standard stuff elsewhere on the side of Jin-Air, but the Phase Rush is the decision that Root has made. Of course, you've got so many different options that you can go for as the Vladimir, but this is the more speedy variety and the one that we've been seeing more often recently. On the other side, it's very, very standard stuff. Fleet footwork being picked up by Ruler, but Aftershock, Spellbooks, and an Electrocute. Very understandable here.
Yep. And the thing about this is that, you know, we talked about what the Jin-Air Green Wings composition wants to achieve. On the flip side, for Gen G, though, a lot of these champions in 2v2s and 3v3s in later stages, they can fare on their own. This isn't just the Ruler show because of how aggressive and all-in the Jin-Air Green Wings champion composition is. So their whole thing is about protecting Ruler and making sure that Grace goes down. And if that happens and Ruler can itemize against Grace or against Root, then I don't know how Jin-Air is supposed to actually win a team fight. Very similar to game 1.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think that More of Malmortius is another thing that we might be complimenting Ruler on as far as that decision, because we'll be working in his lane, even if it won't be mitigating a lot of Grace's damage. Still certainly a good idea. Has a little bit of effectiveness against the Rakan and the Sejuani as well. Fly able to get the shove on in this lane, and that's what we've experienced with a lot of these Lissandra Urgot type games. It means that you can get some wave control and some priority in the earlier stages, and then transition that later into teamfight wombo. Peanut gonna have run of the show with these solo lanes working out very effectively for Gen G.
Malrong now taking the red buff. Lee Sin trying to get the Scuttle Crab priority on the left-hand side.
See whether he's gonna try and do the double scuttle again. Did that on the Elise and then continued to be basically ahead the entire game from the jungle. Losing the game wasn't about Peanut's performance on the Elise. I've always liked his Elise, but not being able to set up with his team for those picks is really what brought them down. That's a team decision, not a Peanut decision.
I really like what's happening. We saw the question mark ping by Malrong on his own Gromp, probably indicating that because of the way that top lane was being played out, that Lee Sin could have maybe gone Scuttle Crab into Gromp and looking for a top gank, but instead, Peanut
coming on
find
over.
Malrong. Peanut does not have Smite.
Just watches it go down as the blue buff is going to be started now. Peanut not able to get in there for the steal, and of course, securing stuff is what Sejuani's pretty damn good at. And I thought navigating a lane is something that Vladimir's good at, but Root showing us that it can be quite difficult here into the Gragas Kai'Sa.
Yeah.
Gragas Kai'Sa, of course, a favorite lane when Kai'Sa was first released. Gragas Kai'Sa and Morgana Kai'Sa were the most popular.
Yep.
And I actually really like it. Of course, was popularized in Worlds, the Gragas Kai'Sa lane, mostly.
Well, it should be noted that Vladimir does have teleport available, so and he has a big wave coming in, so we'll see how much of this wave he can end up getting. It should be able to be all of it.
You've got a back coming down from Malrong, doesn't want to go for any ganks here onto Ruler. There's Root and Kellen underneath this turret. Root's all transfused up. but has used a potion. Things should be A-okay here, as Guardian's going to help them sustain through this lane as well as the Rakan passive coming in for that extra little burst of healing after the Gleaming Quill. Roach pushing forward, and these lanes are doing what they say on the box, which is we can push, we can control waves, and we can get our junglers priority, but Roach now, with vision here up towards the top side. Malrung standing just out of it, and will finally show himself. Disdain going to be used to get out of the smash, and that means nothing doing for that gank topside.
Sejuani did give away her location. I do believe that she was indeed visible, so everyone knows, okay, she has 24 CS, so we know what camps of hers are still up, where she's going. Everyone on Gen.G knows where she is now for the next 2 minutes.
Well, Peanut, we'll see what he actually does about this information that he's got into his head. Right now, not with the experience leads that he's been showing us that he can pick up pretty consistently against Malrung in the first 2 games. Level 5 before Malrung has hit his level 5, but otherwise nothing to write home about. And Roach is just having a party on the Crab God underneath this turret. As Linderung comes in, this is what happens. I mean, you're going to win the lane if you're an Urgot with the right skin against a Scion with the wrong skin, you know? That's what I think anyway. Malrung clears out some more camps. Things continue to be relatively subdued in the early stage of the game. Surprise, surprise.
Ocean Drake, first dragon of the game, no fun allowed anymore. Yeah. I am hoping that we get a 50-minute kill-less game.
Is that what you're hoping for?
That's my cup of tea.
That's gonna solve your cold. That's gonna be your tonic. That's your remedy. All right, Fly gonna get stunned up here. Takes about half of his health bar. Aftershock gonna be helping Fly out. Does have the Frozen Tomb for himself. Grace had also just hit level 6, but did not want to be using that defensively. And I don't know what's going on with Fly, but not having a great couple of games here. Just caught in the wrong position. Life coming on over as well, as Ruler was getting a bit of an advantage. Peanut, I believe, stole away that Rift Scuttle. That is why it is over there, as Life going to come on in. Wants to find the body slam. Cathian Rain helped out by the damage of the Gragas, and first blood to Gen.G.
And it is on to the Gragas. So now, with Kellen not down here in bottom lane, I mean, he is almost level 6. He does have that pool available to him. Not too much pressure should happen. Roach actually doing a very good job in this lane.
Yeah.
He's up almost 20 CS, and he's up a level already.
He's straight up bullying him. And after going from a Jace matchup into the Urgot matchup, which doesn't hard win the lane as hard as the Jace. Very impressive. As Peanut and Life played that out very, very nicely. I like the Blast Cone used for special delivery Gragas. Just bullying the Rakan here for the first blood. Dragon Rage Kick available. As Malrung hasn't quite hit his ultimate just yet. Another Glacial ultimate to come into this game.
And, well, I mean, there was no real kill potential there in mid. No Lissandra ultimate. And even if they did, I mean, Grace has the cleanse available, so don't know what he was expecting to achieve there. And you look at the gold differential, it is about 1K in favor of Gen.G, and most of that is inside of Scion, and then, of course, the first blood kill and assists.
Just think that they're not experimenting with a funny little pick comp and then not picking anyone. They've picked a very Gen.G composition. Yeah.
They're picking a comp that plays itself.
Yes, exactly.
It is very, very simplistic. Can Lee Sin R? Can Lissandra R? Ruler, can you not die?
Yep.
And fortunately for them, Jin Air Green Wings chose a team composition that doesn't think. It just sort of goes, okay, well, we're all going to press our R key at the same time. Let's try to kill the Kai'Sa. And if they don't, it's going to pan out very much like game number 1.
Yes, that's what I sort of feel. The Kai'Sa comp seems to be the one doing the winning in this particular matchup. You can imagine with both of these teams being very guilty of playing the game slowly, having that dirty S word that Papa Smithy talks about all the time in the scaling is something you would definitely choose to do. Life, we'll see how greedy he gets for this Demolish proc. We've seen certain supports be very guilty of that in the past.
Definitely do want the plates. And here we go. This is exciting. Peanut getting that Ocean Drake.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Well, if you get it at, like before 10 minutes like this, it's definitely a much better Drake than it otherwise could be. But Gina don't want to give away the high-value Ocean Drake.
Usually, Ocean Drake is very valuable if you're trading inside of laning phase. You have to be fighting with the opponent in order to make use of that. So
maybe we could just leave that Ocean Drake there for the whole game then.
Oh,
okay.
Well, nice
Disdain,
cancel.
yeah, going to jump on forward. That's just how Disdain works. Been learning a lot about the old Urgot interactions with the Disdain. It's very funny when you Disdain into a Justice Punch, because it's like he leapfrogs you at very high speed. That's a fun one.
Well, Urgot still almost 20 CS ahead, almost has that Black Cleaver completed, and still has the Ignite available, so...
Yes, laning phase going very, very well for him as Life. We've seen this play before as Roach, now in an absolutely awful position, gets chomped down, and Linderung is very, very healthy. The flash has to be used, and I need to see the start of that story to understand what the heck just happened. All right, okay.
When the replay comes, we're just going to let it happen. There are no words that can capture
that viewing experience. Yes, okay. I hope we do get the replay then.
I'm hoping. Or it might just have a little bit too much goodness.
I mean, there was no kill that came in, so maybe they're just like, no, we don't need a replay for that one. But having that flash on cooldown is actually quite important because Roach wanted to be going aggressive and does have the Ignite available, so now can't get any of these flash Disdains. Towards the top side is Peanut. Does land that one onto Malrang. Grace in a bit of control here in the mid lane though, and control wards eyeing each other off in the Dragon Pit. The Ocean Drake is thinking about going back to sleep. They woke him up and he doesn't really like it too much. All right, Peanut going to come back in here. A lot of members of Jinna and Gen.G around this bottom side, but with Root farming things out, might be that Gen.G can start this one up again, but not even going to be able to kill that ward. It's going to regen.
I think Aurelia is actually just going Trinity Force first right away.
Yeah, doesn't actually even think that the Tiamat's necessary.
Yeah. And I do have to say that Grace is doing a pretty good job inside of this lane, actually managing to beat Fly in the CS department as well. I mean, some stuff did happen early on, but for the most part, not too much action actually going on across the board. Only one plate has been taken this game, and that's in top lane.
Yeah, taken by the Urgot.
Yep.
12 minutes in, 2 minutes before those plates are going to fall down. Bottom lane missing a plate as well. There was a big old picture of Vladimir hanging over that one, so couldn't actually see that. But that's a 4 down there as well, so about 320 extra gold going into the hands of Gen.G, which is why we see slightly more than just first blood gold lead coming in for this squad.
I'm not sure how this lane reached this point, though. I mean, there was a point where Roach was up a level, or maybe not an entire level, but he was up in CS, he was up a level, he was up Summoner Spell advantage, and then somehow Linderung managed to bring it back, and you can just see the items that he has. It's very, very difficult now for Roach inside of this laning phase until he completes that Black Cleaver. Linderung going to end up picking himself up a plate here.
Most likely, unless this Purge is going to be able to get rid of these minions quickly enough, and it looks like that is the case. But the next visit should get there, unless in a minute's time the minion wave doesn't actually crash. See the Scion actually playing extraordinarily far up. The vision is right there for Roach as well. I don't know what went wrong. You're exactly right, Ellis. Something did, and it was a catastrophe. And we have no information as to what it was and how it happened.
Yeah.
So the mystery of the top lane swing is a big problem. Okay, there's the combo onto Kellen. Almost one comboed, and Ruler just comes in with the Acathian Rain. Sometimes it rains, sometimes it pours, but that's 2 kills now. Over to Gen.G, and they're looking to try and also take down this turret. Some free plating going over to Gen.G.
They're getting so much value, and we saw in the highlights leading up to the series, the Kai'Sa Gragas combo.
Yeah.
And we are seeing it here yet again.
That's what you can do if you land all of your spells, and Life makes it look easy on this Gragas.
Malrang. Okay.
He's just going to come on over. Doesn't have wards available to get them in that pit. But backs are going to come in. Ruler's got his first evolution. Going to grab his Berserker's Greaves and head towards that Supercharger evolution as well. Very close to getting there, and this Kai'Sa is going to be online much sooner than we otherwise would have expected, given the 1-0-1 nature of Ruler Let's see this again. Life is just so good at Gragas.
Take a look at this one last time. Well, Kellen kind of walked into it. Doesn't even matter. He tries to run to Vladimir, says save me, but a little bit too late as Ruler. I don't know where I was going with that. I said Reger. I don't know. I
was thinking about making a joke, and I'm like, but I actually just don't really understand where that was going.
My brain is starting to malfunction.
I think so. We need to get you out of here. It's okay. That's the last game. We're fine. As Root pushing out on this bottom side, I just want to see more of those combos from Life. Gragas is real nice, but Jin Air going to be able to get this pesky Ocean Drake out of here. I think Gen G are probably pretty happy about it, because finally it's no longer something that we need to look at.
Well,
he's lying in wait.
And the next...
okay.
The next Ocean is another...
I like that you talk about rubber band camps, because I feel like we've got rubber band spectating a lot of the time as well. Rubber band is something that's quite effective as Ruler with the Kathy. Range is going to clear out this minion wave, and we're still waiting for Life to pull the trigger. Control Ward not going to be baiting as effectively here. They're not quite in threat range. Knight on cooldown for Life, but does have the flash.
This is the longest laning phase I have ever remembered.
Wow, yeah.
Casting, actually.
15.5 minutes, and we're still just laning.
I mean, mid and top, they're good to go.
Oh, barrel comes down. We're going to get the flash out of Life as well as Root does have the pull, but can he get out of the way in time? Q lands, Peanut, the Lee Syndrome, not going to come in. He respected the extra health he can get back as the Vladimir, but it wouldn't be this series without a Q landing from Lee Sin on a very low health target and someone not going in.
Well, Captain Careful coming out. That's what's going on here.
Very interesting though. I felt like Peanut was a little bit off the board as Frozen Tomb comes in and immediately Grace is going to cleanse out of it. Are you okay?
I'm not.
Just to clue you guys in at home, Ellis just looked over to me with a very surprised look on his face.
Well, at this point now we're getting some more Urgot on Scion action. And I don't know what to say at this point in the game. Rift Herald's an option. Everyone can make each other sort of force things. When Scion has priority, you would think that the jungler would come over and try to get the Rift Herald, especially because your mid laner's actually winning a counter matchup in mid.
Yeah.
I don't quite know exactly what's going on. The itemization right now for Jin Air Green Wings is actually superior to that of Gen G's. They're going to manage to get themselves the Rift Herald. Well, maybe they can convert this into a mid-tier 1 turret.
Well, all the neutral objectives have actually gone the way of Jin Air this time around. They don't have anywhere near a gold lead just yet because Gen G have picked up those extra kills. The turret plates did go in their favor. So they were able to knock down the turrets a little bit better. Top lane outer, I think, was the only one that actually suffered a turret plate loss for Jin Air Green Wings, and Gen G got one in almost every lane. Fly is still able to push things further forward and very even on CS, despite Grace being able to pick up this whole wave. Tiamat there means that it's going to be a very quick thing as well, as Linderong's just continuing to win trades against Roach. Black Cleaver not enough to overcome this. The Bramble Vest just seemed like that was the tipping point.
If we talk about things that aren't enough, then with the Jin Air Green Wings, we talked about, okay, Vladimir, Aurelia need to get the engage onto Ruler. They have to find a way to delete him, because otherwise they're always just going to lose the fight. He's just going to deal too much damage, and he's going to have too many resistances. But hold that thought.
Yep, that was a flash. Fly's going to get out with the claw. Another great barrel comes in from Life as Peanut does follow this Q and just safeguards his way out. The train comes on in. They're looking to bully Fly, but no, says Live. He's able to get a lot of work done off the side, but Ruler able to do so as well. They get rid of Fly eventually, but the trade goes in favor of Gen G.
Yeah. And they trade mid laners right there. Lissandra's almost going to have teleport available, but not too much ground being gained by either team.
I thought that was an extra kill, actually, so an even 1-for-1, actually.
Well, Malrong missed his ult, so that's what ended up happening there. But as I was just mentioning, if you don't have a... We'll take a look at this. So Fly decides to flash forward, get stunned up right away, and not to be outdone. Malrong throws the ultimate, completely whiffs. Peanut finally manages to get something done, and then tells Fly, you know what, actually you die.
Yeah.
So,
Peanut lives though, able to safeguard his way out, yeah.
He did almost make it away. And then at that point, Root arrives, so the fighting had to stop. But Urgot, in the meanwhile, was getting some waves up in the top lane.
Yeah, there we go. Was a 4v5 scenario that Gen G managed to get a 1-for-1 in, so not bad for them. And the Rage Blade is done. Ruler is now definitely a very scary Kai'Sa on this Gen G squad, but we saw it a little bit in that last fight. It's hard for him to find an avenue to get in there. Linderung's creating lots of zones of control, and Root is threatening with that Hemo Plague at all times. Grace there with the Vanguard's Edge can be very sticky. Onto the Kai'Sa despite her many displacement options in the Supercharger and the Killer Instinct. It'll be about Ruler playing like a god, like he can do. Huguenoland going to give away the position of Malrung and Kellen. And another Ocean Drake, of course.
At this point, we just have to, I mean, Ruler just has to start building the durability items. He doesn't need to deal any more damage because all the members on Jin Air Green Wings are going to be extremely tanky as it is.
Well, that's a Vladimir that can't actually get into this fight anymore, as Ruler just chunked him out to no end. The Supercharger, when it looked like he was going the wrong direction, was a very, very cute move, making sure that Root didn't really have too many follow-up options. Roach and Linderung still fighting. Still confusing me as to how that lane has turned around so significantly. And Jin Air, are they just going to go and take this dragon? Because Gen G haven't actually done too much to stop them as of yet when it comes to these neutral objectives.
Like Gen G want to get themselves an Ocean Drake so that the third one of the game can spawn.
Aha, the third Ocean Drake.
Yep.
I think that's where the smart money is. We're gonna ocean our way through. As,
oh my!
Yet again.
God.
Shelly she hasn't spent a lot of time on the Rift in this series.
This is twice now.
Yeah, dude.
You can't make this up.
Look at my face. Do you see surprise? That was just a cask for a Shelly trade, just to make sure that Life doesn't have that for this next team fight. The Jin Air, definitely a mistake. Not one that you want to see as a Jin Air fan, as Life is once again just body blocking, and that is an ocean apiece, and the next one's a mountain. All right, we're moving into real dragon territory after this one. Give it 5 minutes. Then we might see some more fighting. Linderung just splitting on this Scion very, very nicely. Now we've got Righteous Glories on both sides. Black Cleaver in there as well, and you can imagine that Linderung probably wants to get back home and also start augmenting this item build.
Well, at this point, Mountain is actually the next dragon, so a little bit of saving grace.
Yep.
Coming up in terms of dragon RNG, and I mean, on paper, a lot of people are probably watching this like, okay, Jin Air Green Wings is only down 2,000 gold. No. There's the base champion scaling that you have to entertain, and even though a lot of people are like, oh, isn't Aurelia and Vladimir really strong? Yes, they are. But inside of this composition, they're accompanied by a Rakana Sejuani and a Scion. If they don't just gimp Ruler, they're on a ticking time bomb, and Ruler's just going to keep getting resistances from here on out.
Yeah, he's got
I don't know how you're going to bring him down.
It's going to be very, very hard. But Jin Air made the impossible possible in game number 2. Can they do it again here in game number 3? Because, honestly, the games looked pretty similar at this stage. And Jin Air were able to turn it back around. This time Grace on the Aurelia instead of on the Zoe that he had such an incredible MVP performance on. One of the better Zoes that we've seen so far this year, I think. As far as the pop-offs and getting all of the bubbles in the right spots. Chovy also had a pretty impressive Zoe performance as well.
3-minute laning phase.
Yeah, we're still doing it. Hey, at least we've got a swap. We got a swap.
Hey!
We got the turret to fall on the bottom side of the map. Gen G getting out of this laning phase now. We've done it. We've broken open the bottom lane outer turret.
Well, at this point, the next major objective is definitely going to be the Mountain, followed by the Baron, as I don't think either team really have Baron on their agenda yet.
Not quite. That being said, Gen G certainly have the faster Baron of the two teams without an AD carry. It certainly is something that is a bit of a no-brainer. Even as a play-by-play commentator, I know that one. I also know that Fly is definitely in trouble. Ring of Frost is there. Claw of Doom going to get him over the Vanguard's edge. There's another ultimate is going to go wide. However, Kellen gets in there. Kickback from Peanut to save himself, but not Life, who's going to get taken out by Grace. That's one, but could have been a bunch more, I think, for Jin Air.
Yeah, I don't think that they can turn this into a Baron, but it might be what they're thinking about.
So much vision surrounding this Baron pit as well, as this turret is being zoomed in on for some reason. Yes, it is relatively low.
Yeah. Roach is down there in the bottom lane, continuing to farm. He is very good at that. He
is. He's been doing it a lot. The splitting has certainly been a thing. As the passive is going to pop, yeah, Root doesn't actually use the pull. Kellen is finally going to join him, and thankfully Transfusion is going to keep Root topped up on health relatively soon, but Ruler does have to be respected. It's getting scary for these Jin Air players to deal with the Kai'Sa.
And at this point, Mountain, minute and a half. You could just concede top tier 1 turret, doesn't matter. You can lock the waves at top tier 2 if you're Gen G. Just make sure that you prioritize vision around the dragon and secure that, because it's such an important Drake for your team composition.
Linderung wanted nothing to do with Roach just there. He wanted to try and get Fly, but the Righteous Glory was cancelled. That feels really bad. Oh dear. Roach's Flash is also on cooldown for some reason.
Well, it's alright. Yeah, Spellbook. Maybe he'll swap it out for something.
Okay. Slightly perplexed as to how that even happened, but I guess you just don't ask these questions sometimes. We've got another one of these games where 5 kills have happened, and we've just got random bounties coming out. 600 for a 0-0-0 Urgot in a lane that I thought he was losing in, honestly. Not to be the case, especially after taking down a couple of turrets. The global gold going to be there for Gen G to the tune of about 3,000.
Why doesn't Aurelia have any bounty or Scion?
I guess Grace died.
This is actually one of the algorithms I don't totally understand.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff, and it's about global gold, and it's divided by 4. And
what?
There's a weird divided by 4 thing when there's 5 players in there for a reason that's actually very smart, but I don't really understand.
Okay.
Oh, the ultimate is going to land this time. Quickness comes down as well, but Life in there with a great ultimate, and Ruler's going to grab that first kill. It's a 1-for-1 so far as Fly gets out of there. That means that Jin Air will have more people here, but the Fear Beyond Death is going to land, and Roach just gets rid of the piggy. Roach in trouble though. Life and Ruler are still here, and Ruler just survives for too damn long and picks up 2 kills. And this is what you said. You don't kill Ruler, you don't win the game, and they definitely don't win this team fight.
And Fly did an excellent job. He held Grace at bay on the right-hand side of the river for so long, and it didn't matter because by the time he got to the fight, Fly was then able to use his ultimate to lock up, I believe, Root is what he used it on. And if Ruler doesn't go down, you cannot win the fight.
And Ruler's positioning was absolutely beautiful, but what I want to point out as well is that Fear Beyond Death from Roach was life-saving for this team, because it gave Ruler so much space where he was actually able to go. And what did we talk about before? Jin Air's composition is very good at making no Ruler zones to get damage down. That wasn't the case in this fight as we have a look at it again.
Take a look at this team fight. And, you know, the first ultimate that Malrong ends up hitting ends up being disastrous for his own team, as Kellen just gets completely lit up. Look at the bottom right-hand side. Grace wasting time on Fly, gets to the fight too late. Fear Beyond Death makes Grace turn around, can't go on to Ruler, and then from that point, you don't have any damage for him anymore.
Yeah, that's the thing. Too many buttons pressed with Ruler with a full health bar and no one actually hitting him means that it's just all too easy to clean up. And it does take some finesse to actually fight this team composition from Gen G, because you've got so many more issues being thrown at you, with Roach and Fly not being necessarily ignorable, and Peanut and Life can just throw people in so many different directions.
Whoa!
Flank gonna come in as Fly gets on top. They're starting another fight instantly as the Gragas grabs that first kill, and now Gen G are trying to rout him, but this time they've managed to pick up the kill onto Ruler. That being said, it's exactly what we were talking about. If you allow everybody else to do what they want, they can still win these fights.
Yes, and in the 2v2s and 3v3s, the other champions for Gen G are more competent than the remaining members of Jin Air Green Wings if Aurelia is absent.
Yeah,
the Lee Sin can still deal damage. The Urgot can still deal damage. Lysandra, you can't kill her.
And this is the thing, you know, they just put everything into trying to get Ruler, but Ruler had already done a lot of damage at the start of that fight. A lot of the damage had been done, and it meant that when Jin Air were throwing themselves at the Kai'Sa, Fly's in there with some damage, Roach is in there with some damage, even Peanut's getting some work done in Life. We've been talking about him all day. 2-1-7. on the Gragas. Makes it look damn good. Let's have a look at this one again. The engage from Fly this time was really nice.
And you can see Ruler in the top left. They managed to eventually get onto him, and he had Flash available, gets locked up by Grace, and that's Grace's job in these fights. Yeah. Normally accompanied by a Vladimir ultimate and then trying to live after, because Aurelia is so crucial for the Jin Air Green Wings team composition. But I think that it's just too little too late. This is just like game number 1.
Yeah, feels like it. Mountain Drake is going to go down. Rift Scuttler there as well, and Inhibitor dead in the mid lane. There's no longer a Baron on this map. Gen G picked that one up very, very easily and then immediately started a new fight. See where they can go next, because this game is going to get to 10k gold territory very, very quickly.
And there it is. The Scimitar just picked up for Ruler. Next item probably should just be a Guardian Angel. Just add salt to the wound.
2,000 gold ahead of Root right now.
Yep.
That is just insane. And yeah, the core item's done, like you were saying. Peanut protecting his outer turret on the top side.
This should just be the death push. And unfortunately, Urgot doesn't have Baron because in a weird turn of events, Gen G was actually too quick to eat the Baron. Didn't want to wait the extra 3 seconds. God forbid that.
Yeah, that's a whoopsie.
So Roach missing out on the Baron buff, not able to tap the current mid-minion wave to accelerate it forward.
Could get in there, but at the moment, trying to set up for the next 5v5 that Gen G feel pretty confident about taking, no matter how Ruler fares in it. Seems to still be working out for them. Roach doing enough damage, and Fly, you can see, lying in wait, trying to get that perfect claw. Peanut could give them a bit of a delivery, as there's the engage, but it's actually Malrung that jumps in first and then gets booped back. Kellen dives into the back line, but who can actually follow up? And the answer is no one. Killer Instinct. Look at the AoE damage, the explosion that is the Jin Air Green Wings. And Gen G will pick up the team fight in a landslide.
Yeah, and that's going to be the game. Malrung, he's trying to run to the other base. I think he wants to join that team right about now, but...
Yeah, there's a bunch of defecting going on, a lot of weird teleports happening as well, but at the moment, junglers chasing junglers. Linderung trying to survive for as long as he possibly can, but 4 members should be enough to take down these Nexus turrets, and Gen G, despite a loss in game number 2, will finally put a set victory on the board by taking down the Jin Air Green Wings, and it's all because of this man. It's all because of Ruler.
Yeah. And if he doesn't get MVP, something is